My studio's in my home, so you'll hear sometimes you hear my husband or the cats screaming outside.
The cats. The cats. I love the cats.
They one specifically, she just every time I'm in the studio, she's banging on the door and yeah, it never fails. I'll be teaching like restorative yoga and it's all calm and the music's going and she's like banging on the door. Okay, I think we're live. I think. So, yay, I'm gonna share this to my page and hopefully people will join in. And great. Okay. Oops. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning from Portland and from Prague.
Prague. Good evening.
Good evening from Prague and good morning from Portland. So when you're here, say hello. We are hoping that we've got people to join us this Saturday and hang out with us for a little while and meet our newest instructor at FCBDU. So as you are here, say hi. I'm just going to share this a couple more times in some different places. And yeah, and just make sure that everybody can see us and hear us okay. All right, we'll give everybody just a couple of moments and just have our little protein shake. And you've got your little, what are you drinking? Oh, you have some water.
Water with mint.
Mm.
And gyokuro tea.
And what is that?
It's like a sort of tea that's really strong.
Okay.
Like strong, like to give you energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. Like energizing tea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll just get started. And if anybody joins, they can just chime in and say hi. So joining me today is Lenka. So Lenka, I wanted to start by just let us know a little bit about you. I know that you have a pretty big dance community there in the Czech Republic. And over here in the US, we don't get to see too much of that area. I know one of your friends, I think Bara. So I've met her before, but tell us a little bit about you and where you are and all those good things.
Okay, so hi, my name is Lenka, and currently I'm living in Prague, but I come from Brno, and I have a beautiful dance company, and I'm sharing our t-shirt, and it's called Hurriya. And I've been dancing for about 15 years now, and about no more, 10 years, like FCBD used to be ATS at that time. And when I started, like there was no real ATS, so I had to walk that journey and find like the real ATS, which is something that I'm still learning, of course. And step by step, like from the DVDs and then first workshops and then the general skills, I try to learn and share the real ATS because I really love that. Like I felt the power, like what's so good about it, like why it works, like and why the things that I learned from my instructor, like why they didn't work and why they weren't really fun. So I wanted to share that, and that is how I started teaching ATS at that time. And step by step, our community grew, and then I started my company. And we do only FCBD Style with us, and that's 17 of us all together now. And so I'm always shy to say that, but like the community that we have here, but also in Slovak, that's like I helped grow it, and I helped to spread the FCBD love here. So yeah, that's like in short. I'm really shy to say that, but I think it's yeah, it's true.
And it's important, because like you said, you love the style and you've been wanting to learn or you have been learning like the the true ATS. I know there's our FCBD style. I know there's been a lot of variations out there as people try to learn from VHS or learn from somebody down the road. So I think that that's a wonderful journey. And so what does Hurriya mean?
So that should mean freedom. I hope it really does mean freedom, but it should mean freedom. And yeah, it means freedom. I also have
Beautiful.
it on my hand, like tattooed. At one
Oh,
point, I decided like they are such a big part of me that I want to have them tattooed on my hand. And it's the hand that's closest to heart, actually.
I love that. I
Yeah,
saw
and yeah.
in your class, I saw your arms and I was like, is she wearing bracelets or are they tattoos?
Now, actually, these tattoos, because I have them on both hands, that's the lotus flower. And this actually started at the general skills and the teacher training in 2013 in Britain. And there was one girl who decided that she wanted to have a tattoo marking the women with uplifted arms. So
Mm.
she came up with the idea of this lotus flower tattooed on the wrist, and I really like that. I was like, okay, this is something that I want too. And I think there are like three other teachers who have this kind of tattoo. So yeah, it's actually marking my teacher training.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's such a great idea. I know I'm always all about getting a tattoo to represent represent something. Any excuse to get a tattoo. I'm like, a big event. You know, we got this one from an event. And so I have one on my foot from another event. So, you know, just marking it's um steps in your life, like big events, right? That's part of the markings of tattoos, like representing big life movements and big life events. So, well, I'm really excited to have you here on FCBDU because one of the things that I love, of course, is like the body and the anatomy and really understanding why things are the way that they are and learning more about our movement and learning more about our instrument that is our art, you know? So tell me a little bit about your journey with that, because I know that you've been studying some different aspects of body, mind movement.
Yeah, so I always really liked the anatomy thing, and there was, I don't know which year it was, but there was a workshop, like a 3-part weekend workshop with a lot of instruction, theory, and practice that was called Body and Mind. And I wanted to get that. So I like this was the start of my learning journey. And of course, you also have some injuries and health issues yourself, like myself. So you learn from your own injuries and you learn from dealing with your own body. And I started working with this instructor who was part of that body and mind workshop. And she's a physiotherapist. And so since then, that's like, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years since I've been working with her. I've been learning from her. I've been constantly asking her questions like, how does this work? How does this work? And so I went to different workshops, like a psoas workshop, and then shoulder workshop, and hand workshop, and foot workshop. She's a really great resource for me because she's learning herself a lot, and she's like really on the top of the things, the constant, like the current research. And the past year, everything was online. And so I asked her, hey, why don't we do a workshop together? And we did 3 different workshops that were 2 hours long. And one was on the arms and shoulders and working with props. One was on self-care and how to use self-massage and how to care for the fascia, and and the last one was about core, how to properly work on the core and everything like that. And I got so enthusiastic, and I felt that I like crossed a certain boundary where you feel like I know nothing to I know nothing, but I also know that I already know a lot.
Right.
And so I started this program that's called, what is it called in English? I have only the name in Czech. Restart for your posture. That would be the English
Okay, yeah.
name. And so I've been working with 8 dancers. Like 4 of them are FCBD style, 4 of them are more classic oriental. And we are working on how to really restart the posture, like have to undo the things that are not working out, and different exercises to kick the posture, and yeah, things like that. So I'm really into it right now because I've for a long time I felt like the posture is really the thing that could be limiting you from how well you dance. And I also because I also did the Salimpur format, and I felt that by doing the various physiotherapeutical exercises that my posture improved so much, and I can be such a better dancer in the Salimpur format, also in the FCBD style, of course, that I felt the need like to pass that on. Like whenever I go up, I'm like, okay, everybody go with me.
Yes, exactly. I feel the
I
same.
don't want to go alone. Like everybody go and join me. That's
I
how
feel
I
the
teach.
same. You just get so excited about the things that you've learned. You're like, you want to tell everybody and you want everybody to experience it as well. I understand. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm always kind of scared, like, do I really know enough? Or am I just telling some bullshit? I don't know. So I just need to trust myself. And I'm like, okay, let's just do it. And once I know more, I can pass it on again. And I'm still working with the physiotherapist. And whenever I'm not sure, I'm like, okay, am I right or am I not?
Yeah.
So she's my backup.
It's a constant evaluation and reevaluation, and then your body changes as well,
Yeah.
and it can change for the good. Like the more you work on these various aspects of the posture, the more you start realizing that there's other things there. It's just like unpeeling the layers. And as you grow and as you age, there's other aspects to take into consideration. I totally agree. A lot of my classes, I'll start with some very interesting things that you wouldn't normally think of as a dance class, but very, very important. Even things about like the weight, where you're holding the weight in your feet and being aware of how you stand throughout your day and then how that's affecting when you show up for dance class. Like people don't realize just like the 3 different arches in your feet, how that can impact your shimmy step. And so we sit there, and we practice all of these steps, and we can practice all day long, but if we're practicing them the same way without the awareness of the other things that are happening in your body that are affecting your movement, then you're just practicing the same technique. And it's not even like, for me, I'm just like taking over here. Like for me, it's not even about the technique either. It's about using dance and the awareness to heal your body. So like physiotherapy through movement, which is so fascinating. So you're
Yeah.
teaching this course to eight people or so.
So far, 8 people. Yeah, it's like testing mode, but we've been at it for 2 months, and I already have like great response. Like people are finally working at things that they weren't working on, dealing with some really blocks that were holding them back, and so now they are at it. Some people, some dancers say that they are using certain exercises throughout the day, and they're scanning their bodies, and they're
Mm.
feeling things they weren't feeling before, like, hey, I can feel like this is limiting me, and I've never felt that before, I've never realized it before. So yeah, I say that my superpower might not be in the real expertise, but in motivating people doing the things they need to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I mean, that's a big part of it is you can learn something all day long, but like where's the motivation and the drive and the inspiration to work
Yeah,
on
and
it?
like why? We need to know like why we are learning certain things, like why we need to learn them, why we need to look at them. Like, okay, body scan, like why do I need that? But yeah.
Yes,
So like
yes.
to explain and inspire. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, we're on the same page on so much.
I know.
And I
That's
think that
why I
there's
love
a
your
lot,
platform and you.
and there's so many aspects of that as well. Like I tell my students, there's people that go down the musical route of learning like why the music is the way that it is, and the why the patterns, and the like why we should know all of these things about the music. And then there's other people that are looking at the costuming elements, and really diving into why the costume is the way that it is, or where the different aspects come from. And then there's people that focus on, the body aspect, or the mind aspect, or the energetic aspect, like what we work on. And it's a never ending, like anything that you are interested in, you could just go down that route and learn so much. It's a never ending process. And when I first opened FCBDU and I was talking to some of the students, some of the instructors that I wanted to bring on, they were like, does anybody really want to learn from me? I mean, Carolina's class is already on there, and then you're teaching this other thing. And I'm like, no, but it's different. Everybody has something different to offer. So I love, and we'll talk about it in just a moment, but like, I love your transitions class that you did. And we'll talk about what's releasing right after this call. And then I have a new class coming from Kelly on formations, and the way that she explains it is so different from how I explain it. And it's just fascinating. There's so much to learn. And
Also,
so, yeah.
each instructor have different energies, so it's also about like who resonates with you, like how they talk, or
Yes.
everybody's
Yes.
really different. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. So we have Maria's joined us. Hi, Maria. She says, I love this when we or our students feeling new things and realizing what the body can do and that they can control it. Yes, that. I've been working on my just kind of like journaling a lot about why I do what I do, where do I want to go from here, what do I want to learn, what do I want to impart on my students. And it's that feeling of showing somebody what they already have. And I'm going to cry, like showing somebody what they already have and having them be so proud of themselves for tapping into that and exploring it, and then loving their bodies and loving themselves even more because they realize, like, I can do something that I didn't think I could do, or I can do something that's coming out of like my body, and I don't have to look like this other person because look how beautiful it is expressing on myself. Yes, I love that. So thank you, Maria, for that comment. So you said you were learning a lot online with your with all of your studies, and so tell us about this past year or so of being in this weird situation that we're in.
Well, that was fun. But I adapted really quickly because we were in the lockdown for 3 times, I think, but altogether like really several months. And so I really started filming some videos just on my phone, no microphone, anything like that, really in the kitchen, in a really small area, the first videos. That was really fun. And then I bought my first mic, and then I tried to work better and better. I also watched your tutorial on how to do the online classes.
Oh, great.
And yeah, and I'm really improved in my setting and everything. So I have now a professional light. I have a really good microphone. Everything, my how I speak and how I project my energy online improved. Everything like that. It was a great experience, and I'm forever grateful because I've learned so much just by teaching the online classes.
Yes.
And I'm actually, before COVID happened, before COVID started, I wanted to do something for international students. And then the COVID hit, and I'm like, wait, no. I have these students that I know. I want to work for them. I want to offer them support. So I stopped my project that was in my head, and I did all the online classes, workshops, things that were for money, things that were free, and I did it only in Czech for Czech and Slovak students too. And I had great response, like dancers telling me, thank you for doing this, and you're holding the scene, and So that was actually really great time. Like, it's not something that I want to repeat, of course, but now I have a really great resource of online classes that students still can purchase in
Mm.
Czech, which is awesome. Yeah. And then we did the physiotherapeutic workshops and everything. And I have other online programs. And oh my God, it was great.
Yeah, yeah. I think that COVID really did, I'm gonna turn this on. I think that COVID really did, I don't know, it's almost like it kind of pushed instructors like way out of your comfort zone. And a lot of instructors were like, okay, I got a lot of other things in my life I have to deal with right now. Like, I don't have time for this added thing. Like, my kids are out of school and all of that. And then some instructors were like, okay, how do we make this happen?
Yeah,
And
like, here we go.
here we go. And I had been teaching online for about 8 months when COVID happened. So I already had that experience. And so, like you said before, don't hold it in. If you learn something, like, share it as much as you can. So yeah, I tried to tell everybody what I had been doing, and then upgrading the mic and upgrading the camera and upgrading. So it's just more and more. But I also agree, and I feel the same about it challenges you in great ways as an instructor, because I know for me, I had to learn new ways to explain concepts when it was 2D, like not in person. Um, and also, more international students started joining my classes. And it's been a really wonderful experience to learn how the different languages and just a one word can mean something so different in all these other places, and how that has contributed to the differences and subtle differences even in technique, or things like this, because what I'm saying one word to them, as English as a second language, it means something completely different. So just learning together and learning how to teach certain things. Like, how do we teach? I did a duet workshop. How do you teach duets when you're by
That
yourself,
was an awesome workshop, actually. I took
Oh,
that.
good. You took it.
It was
Yay.
awesome. I have
It
a
was fun.
gazillion notes.
It's fun to be challenged that way. Yeah, like you said, I don't want to repeat it, but it's a good challenge. And speaking of, talking about your class that you have now releasing on FCBDU today, it's called Lock In Your Transitions, which I really love. So I'll kind of set it up a little bit. Lenka was like, I said, what do you love to teach? Like, what do you want? Where do you think you can really help people? And she's like, I really, really love transitions. I really want to teach this concept that I have of transitions. And she sent it over and I watched it and I was like, wow, that's how, that's exactly like what transitions are. But the concept of how you explain it is different. Like, I've never seen that concept before. So do you want to, without giving everything away, do you want to share a little bit about what about what your class is about?
Sure. Actually, that concept also came up from the online classes for my Czech community. And I was thinking about some classes that wouldn't be about teaching steps and dealing with all the details of some steps. So I thought about transitions, which could be nice. It can fit within like 75 minutes or something like that. And I was also thinking like how to teach it differently, like what you said, how to teach it differently. Like, what does it mean to have clean transitions? And I was thinking, what's the purpose of transitions? What makes it so special if the transitions are working out? So I started from the purpose of transitions and what makes a formation stand out from other formation. And it's not the movement, it's not the step, it's the transitions, because the transitions are the place where dancers either mess up, they are in different parts of the space, or they are all together. So I was thinking, how do I make them more uniform in their movement, in the dynamic? And that's how I came up with the lock concept. So it's basically a very short sending the parts of your body, certain parts of your body, to certain places at a correct time. That's it. Like, let's say you want to be here, and so and from here you move like lock, and you like not stop in that position, of course, but you need to hit it. And what happens when you watch certain videos and certain performances and certain dancers, they either don't reach that point, like they kind of miss it, or they go too fast through it, so your followers don't catch it, they are behind you, or they really reach that point but you are somewhere else because you don't reach here, you go like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just skip it. So that's what happened. And it's mostly, when I compare fast steps and slow steps, it's mostly for slow, because fast, as they're rhythmic, it's easier actually, I think, to do the transitions correctly, or like more correct. So it really works well with the slow vocab. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that. So Carolina uses the word settle, which is, so I've kind of adapted that word of settling between movements, like not stopping, like you said, but there is this like settling between so that you finish the movement and then you transition into the next one. And yeah, with fast, we know we're going to finish the step because it's count 4. Like you have to be here on count 4 and you have to be here on count 1. So there's only so many options. But for slow, like you said, because it's arrhythmic, yeah, totally. It could be that somebody cuts off a movement and then they go into something else, and the people that are following them are like, oh wait, we didn't finish that movement. And so it makes it a little bit less smooth. And so yeah, I really like the concept of the locks because, like you said, it's not stopping, but it's like checking in with these things stay here and then these things move, so
I'm all about visualization, and so the concept of locks for me works great for visualizing it.
yes
Settling, I love the word settling, but for me that's, as a, second English as a second language, it's much more abstract. So for me, locks, they work because I can visualize it as a really physical thing, like you bam and you hit it.
Yeah. I know when we were talking about it, I was like, wow, I've never heard this word used, because usually in English, like the word lock means like, like pop and lock, kind of thing in dance language. But then when we were talking through it, I was like, yeah, this is an international school, and the concept of lock is pretty, like that word across so many languages, like the translation of it probably settles haha a lot more with people than the word settle would. Like it makes more sense to them. So just like we were talking about, different instructors offer different things, and even though we're saying the same thing, like saying it in a different way, some people are going to go, oh my gosh, I get it, I know, now I understand. And it becomes less of an abstract thing and more of like, oh, okay, I need, in order to transition from this step to this step, I need to pass through this space. And I really love that. And I love that you did it with combinations. So Lenka's class has, of course, an introduction to the concept and to the class, and then a level 2 and a level 2 plus, and a level 3 and a level 3 like plus, and kind of like a free what you called like a free class, which is based, or a free drill, which is basically like everything, right? So yes, so I love that.
I love
and we're gonna
combos for drills. I love the drills and combos. I'm all about drilling, studying for student. Sorry, but not really.
I think that's great as well, bringing in the other aspects of your training and how it pertains to fat chance belly dance. It's similar to Lacey bringing in her datura style experience and how she has changed it basically into what fits with her fat chance belly dance style training. So the same aspect, like bringing in your Salonpour training and how that pertains to fat chance belly dance, same thing, bringing in my yoga training and my anatomy training and how that pertains. So it's
You cannot
a
really
beautiful
not do
thing.
it, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really just like you don't want to just keep it. No, this is a Salonpour thing. You know, this is a Salonpour concept. If it translates well, then
Yeah.
that works out really well.
Mm.
So I think about there was this article I read. It's been a few years about how basically instructors should be like a cocktail of all of the instructors that they have had. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then you shake it up, and that's your cocktail. That's your mix. So Lisi has joined us. Yes. Lisi's joined us. She says hello, and she's looking forward to dancing with you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, if anybody's joining that has questions, please feel free to, of course, chime in and at least say hi so we know that you're there. So we know Maria and Lisi are here with us today. And again, for those of you chiming in late, I'm here with Lenka, who is our newest instructor at FCBDU. Her new class, Lock-In Transitions, is going to release right after this interview. And we're really, really excited to have you on board. So, kind of like to round it out, I would love to know, Nora's here as well from Peru. Hi, Nora. I'd really love to know, what do you think your favorite slow step and what do you think your favorite fast step is in Fat Chan's vocabulary?
That's a mean question.
It's so hard. Well, today, right? Because it changes, I feel like.
Okay. I need a flow chart. No, but I think from the fast, I really like the basic Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's so earthy and you can just whip your tassels.
Yes.
And you have these beautiful arms. So yeah, I think that basic Egyptian for me, I each drill, each dance when I lead my students, like the whole class, I mostly start with the Egyptian basic, and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Feels so good.
It never gets boring. It never gets boring. Like the basics coming just, and so for the slow, I would probably say Taksim, because I finally feel like I learned it with the arm manipulation after 10 years. Like this.
It's challenging for sure. I know I'm always working on that one. But it's so beautiful and it feels so good when you really are using your obliques to lift the hip up and you release everything. It just feels so good.
Yeah, if you like, yeah, the posture, like lifting up, but also releasing down the hips and all. Yeah, it feels good.
I agree. I think that, yeah. And I mean, again, using dance to heal, right? So we sit all day. A lot of us sit all day. And so when we can stand up and use the taksim to really release the hip and the psoas muscle and like tap into the posture to help us from our, computer posture all day, like really using the dance to heal. I feel like taksim is an excellent one because you're really focused on like uplifted posture, like reversing what you've been doing all day. And like I said, releasing the psoas and releasing those obliques. And really that helps you expand your diaphragm and actually breathe better as well. And then, like you said, with the Egyptian, like the earthiness of it and that slight little twist, even something like the little twist, not little, but the twist that happens in the Egyptian, like really helping with your digestive system as you're twisting one way and then earthing down and like twisting another way. There's so much that's happening in the body that you could really just like, well, I don't know, how do you want to feel? Let's make a combination out of how you want to feel today, or what do you want to work on physically today? You can make a combination for that. So Nora says that's a hard question. Nora, I'm asking it to you now. What is your favorite? And Maria says, yeah, we want to know. Maria says, I have to say this month's topics, both the angle and the transitions, are so important. As a dancer that has learned FCBD style from the DVDs, these two are the topics that always torture me. Thank you.
welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. It's true. It's hard to learn these things on a DVD. And also, if Carolina was to make a DVD that had all of this information in it, like it's too overwhelming. It's just too much. I wouldn't, some of the classes, I know that you've heard me say this, like some of the classes that I teach online, like I wouldn't recommend them for very beginning level students because it's just too much. You just want them to move and dance and be excited about their bodies. But when you get to the point that you're like, okay, I find that I'm leading a lot of groups, or I'm dancing with a lot of people that I don't normally dance with, and I really want to improve my leadership skills, which is transitions and my dance angles, or I really want to teach my students, but I want to feel more confident in what I'm doing and why. Then you start going into the details of transitions and understanding, and also getting the experience of feeling like a student again, right? Like learning something new and going like, oh, I wasn't transitioning that way. Let me try this out and see if I like it better or if it feels more natural, and you can connect better with your students because you are also a student, also learning new things.
Now that the real classes are, I don't know like how about you, but we have the real life classes back. And so now it's important again, like the dance angle, the transitions, because they are not important if you are dancing solo. Like, why do you need your dance angle if you dance solo? Maybe your body wave, okay, your Arabic, maybe your wet dog, but otherwise your dance angle, it doesn't mean a thing. And the same for transitions, like you can dance however you want, but once you are back within your group, you need to get them back.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would say that for some dancers, having proper transitions makes them feel less chaotic. Because if you don't know how and where to start a movement, where to finish a movement, you're like all over the place. And so having proper transitions also helps you with the solo dance, because you're like, okay, here and I go here and I go there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but
It's like
the
the
group
space
thing
between,
is the most. Yeah,
yeah, it's like the space between the breath, that
yeah,
you're just like it's what makes it less chaotic. It's the
yeah,
smoothness of like a breath in, a slight
yeah.
pause, a breath
Mm,
out, a slight pause, and that
mm.
transition that happens between the two. So yeah, absolutely. And it makes you feel more confident, I feel like, in your dance as well, because you know how you're going and where you need to go and the timing of it as well. So Veronica says, are your concepts for your workshops gleaned from others, or did you develop these from your own experience? You might have answered this, but please explain. So yeah, that's a great question. And I think you covered it, but just to recap.
My own experience. Yeah, I think I already kind of talked about it, like how I
Mm-hmm.
developed it. But
Yeah.
yes, it's basically my concept. But nothing is really new. There must have been something that inspired me. So, but I cannot track it, to be honest. Like I don't know how, but I just thought, hey, this idea. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would
And
say this, but yeah.
yeah, inspiration from who knows, other aspects of, I don't even know.
Mm.
Yeah. Sometimes you just read an article not even related to dance or movement or
Mm.
anything, and it sparks inspiration for something.
Mm.
So
I
yeah.
would say that, from Salimpur training, that I have a really good and trained eye. Um, so I notice a lot of details, and I know, like, I really know what to look for. And when I watch a video, I remember my students, what they do. So when I was thinking about that class, about transition, was like what they are doing, like what's the thing that's happening and I need to address. And so that's what really inspired me, like how to explain what they need to do, and I had really good response. So that's why I thought this could be good for FCBDU as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so Veronica, I hope that answers, but you can always go back and watch. I think it was maybe like 15 minutes ago or so. So
Yeah.
you can go back and check that out. And then Nora says rhythmic undulation, I think, talking about her favorite step, especially now that I retrain my body to the angle. It's so beautiful. Yes. And to go back to what Lenka was saying, I think it was Lisi also that brought that to my attention as far as she's been teaching her students. I think it was Lisi. So, anyway, been teaching students online for the past year. And if you have new students, they don't understand what the purpose of dance angle is, you know? So they're just like, okay. And now you have to get it back in your muscle memory. And me, I mean, when I teach, I teach just facing away, and I have to really think about the dance angle. And sometimes I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm just, follow me. I don't know if they're at dance angle or whatnot, but yeah, really interesting stuff. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Carolina and Liz, and we were talking about the upcoming general skills online. And Liz had a really good idea about like how to practice dance angle for the students so that they can like be dancing a dance angle the whole general skills just like you would in person. So getting that into the muscle memory from day one. And so yeah, we're having to retrain our bodies, some of us. And then Veronica has another question. Where do you feel your studies are leading you in dance?
So right now I'm finishing level 4 at the Salimpur school. I have a big dance exam in like 2-3 weeks. Not scared at all, of course. And so after that, I really want to focus more on integrating the anatomy stuff and also integrating like dance psychology, because like I said, like my superpower, what I feel my superpower is inspiring dancers why they need to work on everything like together. For example, makeup, and it's not about training like how to do makeup, it's also about feeling good in the makeup. And that's what I do. I'm like the in between. It's for me, it's not about explaining them really like how to do it, but giving them the trust in themselves, the confidence, working on their motivations, their goals, because people are constantly overtraining and they're like, ooh, overtraining, and then everything is bad, and my life is shit, and and they're in these cycles. And so currently I actually have 2 online programs that are focusing on dance psychology. And one of that is about creating a dance vision, motivation, goals, habits, working habits, because people still believe that you can push it, and it will work. No. So these little atomic habits. And then the other program that's happening right now, that's about self-confidence and how to step into your authentic self and how to shine. So my future, like the near future studies, I want to work more on that, and I want to work with the dancers solo, let's say for at least a month continuously through these online programs, but also through individual coaching and help them with that. I love that.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Like I'm inspired. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to talk more about having some of those kind of classes on FCBDU as well. So I love that. I talk about the energy, and I really tap into the energies of dancing, which I guess affects the psychology, but never really gone down that road. So that's fascinating, and I love that, especially like the understanding the habits and the mindset of the habits. And I know you mentioned Atomic Habits. Have you read that book by
Yes.
Jay? Yeah, it's such a good
awesome
book. Yes,
His
I read it and then I
is
listened
awesome
to
as
it.
well.
Which one?
His newsletter, it's awesome. Great. It's
Oh, I
short
don't.
with all of these, like, it's called 3-2-1, I think. 3 questions, 2 quotes, 1 tip, or something like that. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to sign up for his newsletter. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's see what other questions have come up. Edna says teachers always teach moves only. Hardly ever do they teach transitions, unfortunately. Yeah, that's true. I think that there's such an interesting dynamic for teachers. So I actually had this conversation with somebody about the different cultural aspects and the history of the dance. Um, New students don't sign up for those things. You know what I mean? Like they're not interested in, they don't even understand the concept of what do you mean transitions? You're just dancing, you know? So it is hard to find instructors that teach things like transitions or like dance angle. That was a suggestion from a student. You know, it's hard to find topics on those because there aren't a lot of instructors really teaching them, because there's not a lot of students that would specifically sign up for that one topic, you know. So Edna, I totally understand, but luckily luckily here we have one, at least one class on, well, I think there's a few classes on transitions, but this one is very unique in the approach. So very, very cool. So I hope that you enjoy it, Edna. And then Veronica says, I so want to learn the proper transitions for myself and the others that I dance with. I think great and beautiful transitions make all the difference. And then she also said, wow, that is awesome, um, talking about your explanation of where your dance studies are leading you. So I also love one of the things you said in your introduction to your course, which was this is also a place to have some of that artistic, like the artistic freedom is within those transitions. Yeah. Or yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's actually, again, idea from Suhaila, I think, because she says that the individuality of the dancer is or lies in the transition, because the movement is always kind of the same. Even in the in FCBD style, like, yes, of course we have different bodies, so it looks different, but how you transition from one step to the next one, like how you go even from walking to step touch, like how you do that. And it's so interesting to watch. And because I do the classic oriental as well, I noticed that I always kind of kick the foot a little, so that would be my transition, my specialty. And so yeah, you cannot really do wraparound turn differently. No, you have to look the same within that box of the group, but you can always do the transition a little differently, like how much you weight, like what's your dynamic, how are you going to lift that arm, what do you do with your face, like, you know, what's your energy, like what do you put, what archetype are you tapping into, you know. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it can only be in the transition. You cannot really change anything, especially if you're facing back. Like, what do? You cannot turn faster. No, you would be outside of your group. So yeah.
Yeah. And I agree. Like, how do you bring your arms up between steps, or, you know, is the next step more emphatic because it's matching the new phrase of the music, or are you easing into that step because the transition of the music isn't as dynamic, and so you don't want to like offset that feeling. So I love that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to look at that. Edna says she loves everything. Thank you. Well, she put a heart everything. Heart's back. All right, so we'll just kind of start winding this down. I am super, super excited for everybody to try out your class. So right after this, I will hit publish on FCBDU, and I will post a link to your class here, and also I'll share it, you know, across all the social media platforms. And we would love to know about like anybody that takes the class. We would love your feedback, your comments. Please feel free to leave comments in the class, and I know I'll show Lenka how to go out there and reply with any additional questions and suggestions. Like if you take her class and you hear a concept and you're like, wow, I would really love to hear her talk about this thing, or you have a question about a specific transition, I mean, we're here for you. So we want to know, like, what types of things do you want to learn? What types of things you want to learn? Yeah.
Love feedback, please tell me.
Yes. So Lenka, is there anything else that you want to share with us, or is there maybe your website where people can go learn a little bit more about you?
I do have English website. It's not been updated recently. I think the last time I updated it was like a year and a half ago. So, but you can still visit it. It's lenkaadamkova.com, and it's in the bio as well.
Perfect.
And if you want, you can watch actually my Salim for exam, my show, because it's gonna be online as well. It's gonna be live and online. So if you go to my profile on Facebook, there's an event called Salim for Personal Recital, and you can watch the show. And yeah, that's it.
That'll be fun.
I
I think I'm gonna mark that as like interested or going or whatever you do on Facebook, so it reminds you.
It's July the 1st. July the 1st.
July 1st. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. All right. Lenka, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been super, super fun. I love geeking out on all of the topics that we were talking about, and I can't wait for people to take your class and start practicing these concepts and yeah, and just all of the wonderful concepts that you put into that class and all of the wonderful hard work that went into it. The studio space is beautiful. The quality of the videos are amazing. I know we're all working with different elements and different studios and different aspects. So it's always a treat when we can have a class that's like, not in somebody's kitchen, even though that's okay. But
yeah,
we've all had to do
dance
that.
Studio.
Yes.
I'll welcome you in my dance studio.
Awesome. Awesome. So Maria says, thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. And Nora is sending you hearts. So awesome. Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Much.
And Dance with Lenka on FCBDU. Bye.
Bye and enjoy.